Welcome to Week 10 Pick'em Pandemonium, a Brash Plus exclusive. Brash Plus, the hottest content at the highest prices. I am Josh. I'm joined here with my best friend, Brandon. We've been off for a few weeks, so we've got a lot of picks to cover. We got a lot to get into. Brandon, how the fuck are you, buddy?
We've been slacking. We have been
Slacking big
slacking.
time.
We had a good pick'em episode that was recorded a few weeks back, and it just wasn't meant to be during the editing process. Everything got fucked up. So, unfortunately, nobody will ever see it, but it was a really good episode. You and I really.
You just got to take our word for it. It was the
Yeah, I
best thing
swear
we've
to
ever
you.
done.
And, our picks were very close, but
Yeah.
it was very competitive. I mean, we were in the double digits of winners. And we had really good insight. Don't expect that today, by the way. But every time we made a pick, we justified it, according to statistics and history of the season and whatnot. But yeah, it was a really good episode. And actually, ever since we stopped posting our picks, I mentioned to you before, I've been on a roll. I've been killing it.
Yeah, what's your record overall? I meant to ask you earlier.
Overall, I'm 61%, so that's 83 wins and 54 losses.
Okay, all right. I'm at 85 and 51.
Ooh.
So you closed that gap. You've closed that
It's
gap
nice
over the
and
last
tight.
couple weeks.
And you didn't pick the Panthers-Bears thriller Thursday night game.
Yeah. I probably would have picked Carolina just because why not? Like I was flipping a coin anyway.
Dude, that was a coin flip of a game. I mean, let's be honest.
So I got away with one by just not picking, I guess. It helped my overall percentage, but yeah, what an ugly piece of shit game. We're not gonna break that game down at all.
No. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah, for sure. But we do want to get into these other matchups, Brandon. So what do we got on the docket for today?
Well, of course, we will have to kick things off with our nice early game on Sunday. I love myself an early game. It's a bit of a bummer of a matchup. Our second game in Frankfurt, Germany. This would be the Indianapolis Colts against the New England Patriots. The Colts are currently the favored team at minus 2.5, over under at 43.5. The Patriots, of course, coming off of the loss against the Commanders last week. It was a very tight game score-wise. Overall, though, if you watched it, the Redskins actually handled them. They should have won by at least 2 touchdowns, but I digress. The Colts, on the other hand, they're coming off of a win against the Panthers, but they had a bye week, correct? This past week, or am I wrong on that?
I think so. I don't know. That's a great question.
Maybe I'm wrong.
That's a good question, and someone who had taken the time to put together just some notes or something would know that. But both of us are just jumping in here blind. I think they do.
I don't think so. Nope. It says that game was on November 5th. So I am wrong there.
Okay.
But they beat the Panthers comfortably, 27-13. These Colts, man, we've talked about it recently. They're scrappers. They are scrappers. And they're a team that I'm constantly forgetting about this season that even exists. But they're sitting at 4-5. They could get to 500 in Germany against the Pats. Great opportunity. The majority of the nation, according to ESPN, going with the Colts at 81%, who are Patriots are sitting at 2-7. And I could understand that. I mean, the fact is, especially if you watched the Patriots' last loss, Sam Howell outplayed the shit out of Mac Jones. Mac Jones, this is his last year as a starting quarterback. I don't see him being a starter next year. It's Bill Belichick's last year as the head coach of the team. A lot of changes coming for the New England Patriots. Finally, they had their fun of 20 years of dominance. So I don't care if they are dead and buried at this point. But I still feel a little worried about this one because, yes, the sniff test, you'd say, okay, you got to go with the Colts. They have proven to be the more consistent team out of the two, and they're just a they have. I mean, from what I've seen, I haven't seen an actual Colts game, to be fair, but from the the little I know, it appears they have more talent on their side. But I'm going with the Pats, man. I'm going with the Patriots. I don't know why. It's one that I just really I can't make sense of. I think it's just one of those setup games where you just naturally would go with the Colts, but then the Patriots come out and surprise you. If they give it to Stevenson, they got to go run heavy, the Pats, and I think they're going to learn their lesson. They will do that, and you'll see Stevenson have a pretty decent day. I'm seeing like a 90-yard, 2-touchdown type game for Stevenson, and it will still be a close score. But yeah, give me the Pats getting the win in Germany.
Yeah, this game was a tough one to pick because I'm with you. I think the Colts are a sneaky fun team. I watched a good amount of the Browns game, Browns Colts, where it was just a shootout, and they put up like 40 points on the Browns defense, who we both believe is one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I I went against conventional wisdom as well and picked the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick is undefeated in international games. Granted, those are all with Tom Brady, but I still think they put a good game plan together. They're probably a little more disciplined than Gardner Minshew on the road overseas, right? I went with the Patriots. The line opened with the Patriots as a favorite. So it opened, Patriots +1, and it's moved all the way to the Colts -2.5. So I think people saw that opening line and just started hammering the Colts, and Vegas moved the line. But I think they got it right at the beginning. I, th- something tells me that the Patriots are going to come away with a win here. And I don't really have any strong convictions for them because I do think Mac Jones is not very good. They have the worst weapons in the NFL, and that's coming from a Giants fan. So, yeah, it's my stinkiest pick of the week. I fucking hate this pick, but I think because I hate it, makes me feel okay
Mhm.
going with the Patriots here.
And just real quick, go back to the bold prediction for Stevenson. I didn't know this until just now, but the Colts are allowing an average of 125.6 rushing yards a game. They've allowed 15 rushing touchdowns this season. So
Damn.
keep an eye on Stevenson early Sunday morning. Let's move
Yeah.
right along to the next game on the slate. The early slate, starting off with the Texans and the Bengals. We were a little worried that the Bengals were looking like the Bungles early on in the season, and it was going to be a rough year for them. But they've really turned things around, having won their last 4 games, and they are favored by 6.5. The over under at 46.5 of this one. But the Texans, man, that's one prediction that you and I got right before the season started. We saw that the Texans were going to be a tough out for anyone that came across them. You had CJ Stroud as the top rookie quarterback this year, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick so far this season.
Unbelievable.
He's a stud. He's a stud. And that's going to be a really fun game to watch. I don't know because my Skins play the later slate, so I don't know if I'll get that one. Probably not. But yeah, obviously, if I happen to get that, then I will tune in. Bengals were my Super Bowl pick, so I'm really liking how they're on a little bit of a tear right now. And it's not just Burrow and the offense that's really gotten things together. It's that defense.
Yep.
They've really tightened up, especially the secondary. And I have a feeling, in Cincy at Paul Brown Stadium, I'm not calling it Paycor Stadium. It's Paul Brown Stadium, motherfucker. I think that they're going to get their 5th win in a row in front of their home crowd. They're going to slow down CJ Stroud. They might get force his second interception of the season. Get ready. But yeah, I think the Bengals win, and I think they win comfortably by at least 10 points. That for me, that's comfortably in today's NFL. So yeah, give me the Bengals getting to 6-3 and putting the Texans at 4-5.
Yeah, I worry about this game turning into a shootout because I think the Bengals have some injury issues at wide receiver. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are banged up. I think T. Higgins is already ruled out. Jamar Chase, I believe, is questionable. Again, if we were prepared, we would have this readily available.
Can't do that.
So if this turns into a shootout, I actually think it might be go in the Texans' favor. But I do think the Bengals defense is very underrated, and I think that they'll give CJ Stroud enough problems to where they keep it close. And I don't see it being a blowout either way. In fact, gun to my head, if I'm betting on this game, I probably take the Texans and the points because I could easily see it being a field goal type game. But I'm picking the Bengals. I mean, they're just on a roll right now. Joe Burrow is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL. I just can't pick against them at home right now. And I do like the Texans. You're right. We were both very high on them. Pat ourselves on the back for that. But this week is just it's a bad spot for him going into Cincy. So give me the Bengals.
Next game in Minneapolis, Minnesota, US Bank Stadium. 2 5-4 teams, the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. New Orleans actually favored by 3 points in this one, and the over-under at 40.5. This is a tough one to call. The Vikings, man, they were dead and buried in Atlanta last week, and they put Josh Dobbs in, who didn't have, I don't think, a second of practice with the team.
Nope.
And he just fucking went in there and lit shit up, and he got them that dub. They stole a win from the Falcons and Taylor Heineke. So I don't, if that wouldn't have happened, my pick would have probably been different here. But I don't know, man. I wasn't big on Josh Dobbs. I'm not gonna lie. My boy Eric was telling me about him because he used to be a backup for the Steelers. And, he said, look out for Dobbs. I'm like, I'm not, I'm sorry. I think it's over for the Vikings. But no, man, now I'm all in on the Josh Dobbs bandwagon. And I think, they're going to feed off of that energy from that away win in Atlanta, and they're going to bring it back home, and they're going to get the win against the Saints. The 3 points, the over under, I'm going to just stay away from altogether. But I just think they're going to be able to find a way to get to 6-4. Vikings, a sneaky wild card team looking like, if Dobbs can keep it up.
No, the Josh Dobbs story is one of the coolest stories in the NFL this year. He showed up, didn't take a single snap in practice. He said he was throwing to guys who he didn't even know their names. He was just finding them.
Yeah.
Didn't know the plays. Like, people in the huddle were like, he was like, what is, X, Y, zebra, whatever. And they're like, oh, it means this. I'm going to run a slant. And he just figured it out. That's fucking amazing. Right. And I think I read somewhere he's like a literal rocket scientist. So he's one of the smartest guys in the.
I did hear that.
He's like one of the smartest guys in the NFL. I love the story. I really am going to be pulling for him more so than the Vikings, but big Josh Dobbs fan, great name. And I'm picking the Saints this week because I think that the defense is going to be able to confuse, Mr. Smarty Pants college boy rocket scientist enough to where they'll force enough turnovers. I see a low scoring game here. I probably am playing the under. And I would take the Saints. If the line moves to like 2.5, I'll take the Saints, but at 3, that's kind of a dicey number. You're just asking for a push. I like the under in this game, and I like the Saints to win it.
Yeah, no, Saints overall, the 7th ranked defense in the NFL and 7th ranked passing defense.
Yeah.
But Falcons defense ain't that bad either. Dobbs finishing last week with 20 of 30. I didn't know he had 30 attempts. Holy shit. 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Yeah, it'll be a close game. I like that we differ on our picks, but I think the Vikings just need that home win. They're 1-3 this season at home. So they need a spark something to get those Vikings fans out of their seat.
Now, remember last week you had the Falcons, I had the Vikings. Don't forget, we keep splitting on these Vikings games.
That's true. That's true. But again, I wasn't expecting Dobbs, to be honest with you. And I know I was out on Dobbs, but still, I don't even. What was the name of the guy? I can't even remember. Renner or some shit. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But
it does not matter what that guy's name is.
And he got a concussion, right? That's the only reason Dobbs came in.
That. Yeah. He got injured. He had to go out. Josh Dobbs got thrown in. Didn't know the names of the guys he was throwing to. Still pulled it off.
Amazing.
I mean, absolutely amazing story. Really cool. I will be pulling for them. I'm rooting for Josh Dobbs. But this week, I just don't. I think the Saints go in there and figure out a way to confuse that offense enough to keep it a low-scoring game. And I just trust the Saints a little bit more.
Next game is the Green Bay Packers at 3-5, headed to Pittsburgh to take on them Steelers at 5-3. The line here is in Pittsburgh favor at -3.5, over under at 38.5. Packers losers of 4 of their last 5, and the Steelers winners of 3 of their last 5. Steelers are a surprising team because I heard recently that they've been outgained in every single game, but they're just finding ways to win somehow. They're, and their goddamn quarterback, Pickett, he's a fourth quarter guy now. He can be shitty for 3 quarters.
Fourth quarter Kenny. That's what we've been calling him.
That's right. That's right. That's what everybody knows him as now. And I don't know. After week 1, too, when it comes to the Packers, I was actually pretty high on Jordan Love. I think the Packers might have hit again, and there's still, of course, a chance. But he's been brought back down to earth since that early win in week 1, and he's looked more like a first-year quarterback. This is one really. I'm sorry because I'm 5-3. I'm not being fooled by the Steelers. They're in a tough division. They're in a tough conference. I would still be surprised if they make it to a wild card. I think that they'll have a reality check soon enough, but they are at home and they just, they lucked out with the scheduling, and it's a good time to get the Packers, and they're going to be in front of their crazy home crowd. So that's why I went with the Steelers in this one. I just think it'll be a tough environment for Jordan Love to try to get that win, even though they're coming off of a win against the LA Rams last week. Give me the Steelers. Give me the Steelers. Or wait, or they have a bye week. I don't even keep track, but their last game. Fucking bye weeks.
I want Steelers as well. I just think the Steelers defense is just really fucking good.
Yeah.
I think TJ Watt is going to be up Jordan Love's ass all game, and I just don't see either team really separating all that much. Again, I think it's a close one. I know it's so boring to just say that over and over. But this one really does feel like another close one. I don't trust the line here for over under or for the spread. So this is just a total stay away, but if we're just picking them straight up, I like the Steelers mostly because they're at home.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, though, the Steelers defense currently ranked 31st in the NFL, right above the Broncos. They are in bottom 10 of passing defense also. So I guess if Jordan Love is going to get things going, now would be the time. But yeah, I just think he'll be frazzled. He'll be a frazzled son of a bitch out there, running for his life. And again, what is it? 38.5 is the over under. Take the under all day. I'm sorry. This one stinks like an under. And it's, it should be a sloppy, ugly, boring game. But at the end of the day, the Steelers will get the dub. So we're both going Steelers then.
Both Steelers. I don't know. I'll take the over. How about that? That's where we'll split on this game. I'll say it's like, to me, it feels like a 24-20 type sort of game.
Okay.
That's what it feels like to me. So I'll take the over. Tennessee
Titans at 3-5 headed to Tampa take on the 3-5 Buccaneers. Titans yet to win an away game this season, but Bucs aren't great at home at 1-3. The spread on this one is at -1.5 in the Bucs' favor, and the over/under at 39.5. I mean, shit. Titans, Bucs, come on. Talk about a goddamn coin flip. I guess you could go either way with this one. And in fact, I'm going to have to remind myself who I fucking picked because I can't even remember. Unfortunately, well, it looks like for whatever reason, I am going with the favored team. I did go with the Bucs. I think the only reason is because didn't they have a really bad last performance? It was pretty bad, right? They got
no. Well, that was a shootout with the Texans, and the Texans came back and beat them at the buzzer. CJ Stroud with an unbelievable pass to the back of the end zone to beat them as the clock expired. So the Buccaneers played a decent game last week against the Texans.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, the Titans have been in every single game pretty much, except for like 2 this season. They just tend to come out on the losing side of things for the most part. The Bucs have lost their last 4. I just think the Bucs are due to get a dub, and again, it's a good opportunity for them against Will Levis, who, again, I think Titans have found their guy. I know it's really early to say that, but just from the little sample size we've seen, he looks to be a legit starting quarterback in the league. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans get their first away win in Tampa, but I went with the Bucs. That was just a gut pick. I'm going with the Bucs to get the win.
Yeah, this was a really tough pick. I went back and forth on it. I ultimately thought about the Bucs secondary and how bad they are, and just thought about Will Levis coming out and having a monster game.
Yeah.
I think DeAndre Hopkins fucking cooks on Sunday. If you do DraftKings, daily fantasy, whatever, throw him in your lineup because I could see him having 2 touchdowns easy. I'm picking the Titans. I think it's going to be another high scoring game. You look at this matchup and you go, ooh, stinky poo-poo low scoring, but I think it could turn into a shootout, just like last week, Tampa Bay with the Texans. And I just trust the Titans quarterback a little more. It's crazy to say, but Baker Mayfield, he makes bad mistakes. And the secondary for the Bucs is just awful. So I think Will Levis comes out, has a big game, and the Titans win relatively comfortably.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it. Like the differing picks. This next one, part of the early slate, perhaps the game of the week, with the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-game losing streak at 5-3, headed to Jacksonville, take on them Jags at 6-2. 49ers are favored, though, by 3 points here, over under at 44.5. And I guess Debo's been out for a game or 2 or whatever, so he's coming back.
Oh, yeah, I think 3 or 4 maybe.
Okay. And nobody's talking about the 6-2 Jags. This is an opportunity for the Jaguars to get some recognition. If they can get this win and head to 7-2, then they'll be putting the league on notice that they're a legit AFC contender. I mean, I think they deserve more respect. I think the Jags are, an absolute stud of a team. They're on a 5-game winning streak right now, so they're hitting their stride. Whereas the Niners are just in a hole right now, and again, the scheduling didn't work in the favor of the 49ers. And I'm sick of picking the 49ers just because of, well, they're due. You know what? Screw that. The Jags are due to be 7-2. So give me the Jags getting the win against the 49ers, and the 49ers having a 4-game losing streak, just in a bad slump. That's really it. I just think right now in week 10, Jags are up here and the 49ers are down here. And I just expect the Jags just to beat them and beat them. Again, this is another one I could see it being at least a 10-point victory. So give me Trevor Lawrence and them Jags.
That is quite a prediction. I think it's a close game. I don't think it's everyone wants to make this game Trevor Lawrence versus Brock Purdy. I think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey versus Travis Etienne. And I think both teams come out and have a really well-crafted running attack planned. I think you're going to see a lot of screen passes and short plays. And I think, the edge obviously goes to San Francisco in that regard. Trent Williams is coming back for this, which I think is huge for the 49ers. And I think I trust Shanahan to put together a game plan off a bye week more than I trust Doug Peterson to. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. You know why, Brandon? Because they're due. They are due. Okay? They are due. I'll say it. I'll say it loud. I'll say it proud. They're due. But no, it's all about coaching and running backs and offensive line play. And with Trent Williams back and Christian McCaffrey playing like the best running back in the league, that's why I'm going with them. But this line does stink. There's something off about it. As soon as I saw Niners -3 in Jacksonville, I took a whiff and it smelled like the inside of a dirty asshole, and it stinks. I'm not touching the spread. I'm not touching the over under. I might take the over, but the 49ers, to me, I think they win. I don't know if it's comfortable, but I like the Niners.
Yeah, Jags are the 4th ranked rushing defense in the league currently, but the 30th ranked passing defense. So who knows? It might be a Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy shootout. We shall see. It will be, it'll be an exciting game regardless. The Cleveland Browns are headed to Charm City to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Browns at 5-3, Ravens at 7-2. The spread on this one is Baltimore -6.5, and the over/under at 38.5. And you would expect a low-scoring, strong defensive game here. It's one of those tight, tough divisional matchups. Believe it or not, had a hard time picking this one. Majority of the nation going, of course, with the Ravens, who are just red hot right now. 90% of everybody on the Pick'ems and ESPN going in the Ravens' favor to get to 8-2. And I haven't lost any confidence in the Browns defense. They do have the number 1 passing defense in the league right now, and the number 1 overall defense in the league right now, statistically. So they're going to be able to slow down that Lamar Jackson offense. It'll be give me the under on this one. But man, I don't know why. Again, I just got that tingle. I'm going with the Ravens, but I think I wouldn't be stunned if the Browns come out with the dub here. I really wouldn't. Now, seeing the Browns, at 6-3, that does seem a bit surprising. So maybe that's probably why I went with the Ravens, because seeing them at 8-2 makes more sense than seeing the Browns at 6-3. So, give me the Ravens getting the win at home against their divisional rival, and that would bring them to 4-1 at home. They're a good home team. So, go Ravens.
Yeah, they're great at home. I mean, it's a very underrated home field advantage that they have. Those Baltimore fans, man, they are fired up in the city of Baltimore. But this is a close game, dude. The line is way too high. I betting wise, I'll probably play Cleveland +6.5 because this just reeks of an overtime, Justin Tucker field goal to win it. I'm taking the Ravens. I have to. I cannot trust the Browns right now. Deshaun Watson, that guy fucking sucks. But yeah, I don't know about the over/under. Probably staying away, but I love the Browns +6.5 in this spot. I mean, these AFC North divisional games, are always so close.
Mhm.
They're never blowouts. So
yeah, I'm not picking a blowout.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a really close game. Again, not shocked if Cleveland wins, but I'd be surprised. I'd be slightly surprised. But the Ravens, they're gonna win this. I mean, the home field advantage, the defense to confuse Deshaun Watson, a lot of turnovers. Lamar Jackson probably rushes for like 80 yards, just because he'll have to. Myles Garrett's going to have him running for his life, and nobody scrambles better than Lamar. So give me the Ravens, but give me the Browns plus the points. Probably a low scoring, very close AFC North grudge match. Just clanging and banging
Yeah,
down low. It's going to be a very tough game. It'll be a fun watch though. If you
we're
like old school, grinded out football, I think it'll be a really good watch.
we're both on the same page with that game. Moving in to the later slate, starting off with the Atlanta Falcons coming off of that stunning loss against the Vikings last week, sitting at 4-5 now. They're headed to Arizona to take on the 1-8 Cardinals. The Falcons, who have lost 5 of their last 7, taking on a team that has not collected the dub since week 3 against the Cowboys. And I'm plain and simple. First of all, Heineke better than Desmond Ridder. Falcons pissed off that they let that one slip away. Great. Again, schedule working in their favor. This is a get right, feel good game for the Falcons to get to 500 against sorry ass Cardinals team who are now, they're of course, they've been playing like the Cardinals we thought we were going to see before the season started. Kind of like the Panthers, I don't see the Cardinals winning another game this season. So give me the Falcons winning, and the Falcons favored by 2.5. They're talk about comfortably. I think they could win by like 17 points in this one. So give me the Falcons winning big, with Heineke having a big game and Bijan Robinson having a good game. It's just going to be an all around dominant performance by the Falcons to get their fans excited.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Wow.
I think I might have picked the Cardinals off the jump. Kyler Murray's back, and he's got a lot to prove. I know, you can roll the tapes of me shitting on Kyler Murray over and over again. I've used every insult and profanity in the book against the guy. I'm not a fan at all. But I do think there's something to be said about a guy coming off injury with so much to prove. It feels like the Falcons are going to go in and with that chip on their shoulder from the loss last week and put together a good game plan and win though. So I'm picking the Falcons ultimately, but I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's another close game. I think we're going to see just a lot of them this week. Just looking at the slate and the schedule and a lot of weird matchups, weird lines. I'm taking the Falcons, but I don't feel great about it.
All right. Well, I think you made the right pick. We'll look back in this one and you'll be like, okay, why the hell was I ever thinking the Cardinals had a chance in that one? But who knows? Who knows? You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions headed to LA to take on the 4-4 Chargers. Lions sitting at 6-2. The spread on that -3 in Detroit's favor. The over/under at 48.5. The Lions, who have won 5 of their last 6, and the Chargers, who be charging because they've won 4 of their last 6. They're being, they're skimming by the Chargers. They're getting the wins. They're literally 500 at 4-4. They're 500 at home at 2-2. Lions coming off of a bye week, correct, Josh? So they're nice and well rested, and another 6-2 team. This is the NFC equivalent of the Jaguars. Nobody's talking about the Lions. Nobody's giving them any. And Chargers, I just can't rely on them. So I'm going with the Lions here. I think the Lions should win, and they do win, and they cover the 3 points. And it's probably going to be a rough day for the Chargers, just simply because Herbert and co won't be able to keep up with that offense of the Lions. So this one should actually get away from them pretty quick, in my opinion. So give me the Lions getting to 7-2 and putting the Chargers at 4-5, which seems fitting. Given what we've seen thus far of each team.
Yeah, the Chargers are absolutely fraudulent. They are just not for how good a team they are. They're not a good team. And the Lions, I mean, dude, you and I were both really high on them coming into the year. I had them winning the division easily. I had their over on the win total, all that stuff. I'm still super high on the Lions. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's about to say, that's why I'm taking the Chargers. I'm not. I'm taking the Lions. They're just the better team. There's no home field advantage for the Chargers. In fact, it'll probably be majority Lions fans down there getting a break from the dismal, Detroit streets, going to LA for some sunshine, get away from it all. I like the Lions a lot in this spot coming off a bye, and the Chargers again just really, really fraudulent. So the pass rush, I could see Justin Herbert getting sacked like 5+ times, maybe throwing an interception. And dude, I think we're gonna see the end of Brandon Staley soon. He'll get fired if Detroit blows them out. He could get fired this
That's
week.
it. That's it. Yep, I agree with you. You're right. That could be the final
Yeah.
straw in front of that home crowd. The boos are going to be overwhelming if they get completely manhandled by the Lions, which is very possible.
Speaking of blowouts,
Um, let's go to Arlington, Texas. The world will be watching, Josh, as the 2-7 Giants take on the 5-3 Cowboys, who are undefeated so far this season at home. Spread on this one is at -17. That's right, -17, over under at 38.5. And I mean, there's just really not much to say here. Obviously, Daniel Jones out for the season. He had an Achilles. Seems to be the thing going
ACL.
around these days. ACL. Sorry. So yeah, but he's Dunsky, and God damn it, what's the guy's? Who's your quarterback's name? I'm never gonna remember it.
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's got a gangster name. He's like, he sounds like somebody from Boardwalk Empire, Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
And there's really not much to break down here. It would be the upset of all upsets, in my opinion, if the Giants were able to go into Dallas and get the win. I know Dallas is the only dub for the Arizona Cardinals, but they seem to have hit their stride, at least in my opinion, on offense. I think Prescott's playing at a high level right now. Yes, they lost to the Eagles, and everyone says they probably should have won it, and they let it slip away. Eagles are a fucking dominant team. Eagles should have won that game. So if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not too disappointed about that. Talk about a, feel-good game in front of your home crowd. This is it. It should be an easy one. And I'm not trying to do a reverse jinx here, in all honesty. I hope I do. That would be a lot of fun to be talking about it next week. But yeah, give me the Cowboys getting to 4-0 at home and 6-3 overall, and putting the Giants at 2-8. It's going to be a tough road for the Giants for the remainder of the year.
Oh yeah, dude. Tommy DeVito is awful. I mean, he's a third string quarterback, so you don't expect him to be good. Everything is working against the Giants this week. The Cowboys are coming off of a tough loss. I mean, they did play well. Like, I watched all that game. They looked good. They looked like a good team that can go toe to toe with Philadelphia. Now they go home pissed off against a really dog shit team. I mean, the Giants, I think they would lose to any team in the NFL, right? So now they have to go play the Cowboys at home, pissed off with that pass rush. yeah, it could get ugly. Now, before I make my pick, I want to show you a little birthday present my daughter got me.
Oh, nice.
Here we go. Here we go.
Uh-oh. The good
Boom.
luck. The good luck flag.
The good luck flag. I'm taking the Cowboys. They're gonna cover. They're gonna win easily by 20. This is probably like I mean, they beat us 40-0 when we were healthy and hopeful, right? In New York. So this to me is, yeah, huge feel good game for them. I don't think they're going to be looking ahead. They're looking to break some skulls. Tommy DeVito finishes with negative passing yards again, probably. And it's going to be, my final score would be like, I don't know, 70-3. I don't know.
Oh,
Something like that.
no.
It's going to be ugly, dude. It's realistically, it's Dallas gets into the 30s and the Giants struggle to get to double digits. So I think they cover pretty easy.
I could see like a 31-13, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, which is an ass whooping.
Yeah,
but,
I just don't see how we get to 13. Unless we have a pick six or the only way that we have a shot. And I think this is the same take that I gave in the Miami game is we run all out blitzes and we try and put Dak on his ass and force him to make a lot of mistakes. That's the only way we win. And in doing that, you open yourself up to a blowout, right? Because if you try and play conservative and just hang in there, we're so outmatched, it's not even funny. So we've got to try and force turnovers. The only way to do that is by blitzing the shit out of him, which means you're going to have more open receivers. If they're able to block us, then, CeeDee Lamb's going to have a huge day, and then you're going to leave yourself open to a blowout. So I don't know. There's just no conceivable way that the Giants win here. If we keep it close, I'd be shocked. I never take a big spread, like double-digit spreads. I fucking don't touch them. I probably will be betting Dallas -17.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be talking too much shit because, we are both going to be playing away from home in front of a tough home crowd this week against a 5-3 team this week. My burgundy and gold headed to Seattle to take on the Seahawks at 5-3. Redskins currently sitting at 4-5. And the spread is a 6-point favor of the Seahawks, 44.5 over under. Before I say anything else, I will say hit the over all day in this one. This is going to be a goddamn shootout between Geno Smith and Sam Howell. It's so funny going into the year. I was like, oh, the defense will be the strength of the team. The offense will have a rough go of it. Boy, was I wrong. Shows how much I know, because Eric Bieniemy's offense is really clicking right now. These last two games, I think Sam Howell's really gotten the hang of it, and they're on the same page. And he's just, Sammy's slinging it. He's other slinging Sammy in DC. I think they might have found their guy for the next 5 to 10 years, barring any horrible catastrophic injury. But it's a tall order. I mean, again, they had to barely squeak by against the Pats. The problem is, even when we dominate statistically, we find a way to shoot ourselves in the foot. That's just what we do. We can't put a complete game together on both sides of the ball. We will turn the ball over. We'll turn it over, and so you're in the red zone right away. We'll always find a way to keep the other team in the game, and it's just always going to be a nail biter. A lot of people are high though on the Redskins this week. But that's my local radio. But I think a lot of them are just homers. They just don't know, and I know. And I haven't picked the Skins since the Bears game. We all know there. But I'm honestly just picking because I can't pick us, especially in Seattle. That said, we have never lost a regular season game at that field ever.
Really?
Ever.
That's crazy.
So yeah, isn't that wild? And we're 7-1 there the last 8 games we've played there. That's what I heard. We've lost there 2 times in the playoffs. So
Gotcha.
they have our number in the playoffs. But yeah, in the regular season, we actually like playing there. They are 3-1 at home this year. Again, just it's a tough place to play. Seahawks got embarrassed last week against the Ravens, who just shellacked them. It's bad timing for us.
Yep.
Again, I'm expecting a shootout, both teams in like the 30s.
Wow.
And yeah, it'll be an exciting one for the neutral fan. If you happen to tune in, it's my mom's birthday on Sunday, so we got that. Maybe that little good luck going for us, but I don't think the Commanders will get the memo, and they're gonna lose. I'm sorry. I just think, at the end of the day, Seahawks come out 6-3, put us at 4-6, and pretty much put the nail in the coffin for our season. Because I will say this is one of those games. Speaking as a Skins fan, that like if they win and get to 5-5 before then going and playing at home against the Giants, it would be an opportunity to kind of, get a little run going. And overall, Ron Rivera's record with us in November is pretty decent. This is when he starts getting things going before, of course, the last 4 games of the year where we shit it. But, would I be stunned if we win? No. But again, I would be relatively surprised because it just smells like a loss. So all that said, after I have spoke for the last 30 minutes on this one, give me the Seahawks to get the win in front of their crowd, the 12 in Seattle.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks are really good. I think they're a very sneaky, very underrated team. It's a really tough spot for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seattle. Anytime a good team gets blown out, I love them the following week, especially when they're at home and especially when they have such a strong home field advantage. So it is unfortunate. I think this game would look a lot different if Seattle had won in Baltimore or at least kept it close and competitive. But because they got blown out last week, I like them to really
Pete
fucking.
Carroll ain't gonna fuck around.
He's not gonna fuck around. He's gonna dial up some shit, and it's gonna. You're right. I think it will be a very entertaining game. But I like Seattle. I like them to cover, and I'll trust you on that over. I'm gonna play the over. Because if you think both teams are in the 30s, fucking hey, let's go.
Oh yeah,
let's fire up that over. But yeah, I just can't pick the Commanders here. It's a tough spot. Sorry, not the Commanders, the Redskins. Sorry.
Yeah. And 13% ESPN going with the Redskins. So that sounds about right.
That's a lot of people in the Washington D.C. area picking
exactly
as a homer. Good for them.
Exactly, they covered all that 13% there. Man, primetime games this week.
Waiting all day.
Snooze fests all around. I mean, the Thursday night game, and then Sunday night. I wish I could say people will be waiting all day. I don't even think the Vegas or Jets fans will be waiting all day for this one, as the 4-4 New York Jets head to Vegas to take on the 4-5 Raiders. The Raiders slightly favored by a point in this one, over under at 36.5. And it's just, I don't really care. I don't know how much of this game I'm really going to watch. I guess, the only thing that gets me a little fired up is Antonio Pierce, and how, I have Josh Jacobs on my fantasy team, and Antonio Pierce knows, give that man the goddamn ball. He should have at least 23 carries a game. And they did that well against the Giants. Jets, slightly different beast when it comes to the defense. So it's a little tougher to run on them. Very tight. I'm 46% in the Jets' favor, 54 in the Raiders when it comes to those pick'ems on ESPN. You know what, though? I just think they're going to be riding the magic with Antonio Pierce for a couple weeks. and the Raiders get by with a win. I think Zach Wilson has another shitty game because he's a shitty quarterback. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions so far this season. And I do think Josh Jacobs will be able to get somewhere around 85 to 95 yards, and he'll get a couple of scores to get the Raiders the dub at home, and get to 5-5, which is unbelievable. Granted, how bad their offensive line is and has been, and how bad their defense is, but give me the Raiders just because. And again, I don't know how much of the game I'm going to watch, but I went with the Raiders here. I think we should differ on this one, though. I feel like you might go with the Jets. Am I wrong?
Well, you'd be right in the fact that I considered the Jets, absolutely, but I think that the new coach momentum is still rolling for them. They're having fun in the locker room and on the field, and sometimes, man, that's just what a team needs to do. And yeah, we could be just seeing the up and coming of the next great coach, right? I mean, Antonio Pierce played for the Redskins and the Giants. We both got to see him firsthand be that the captain and the leader on defense, and he was fucking awesome. Even when, like, in his later years, when he wasn't that great of an actual middle linebacker, he still the defense still played so much better when he was on the field, just because of his knowledge of the game, telling people where to be, what plays were coming. The guy just knows football. He is a football guy, and I think that they're still going to ride that momentum, but I'm not going to bet it because I don't trust him that much. What I will play is the under. I will hammer the under in this game. 2 shitty O-lines, 2 really good pass rushes.
I like that.
I think bold prediction, Max Crosby sacks Zach Wilson so many times that he's gonna bang Zach Wilson's mom right after the game. I think Zach Wilson's mom's gonna open up her legs to Max Crosby after the game live on NBC. So
stay tuned.
That's why I'll be tuning in, because I really want to see that. But yeah, it's the Raiders. The Raiders are the play here, but I don't love it. I love the under though.
All right. Well, hey, we're both on the same page. I mean, for the most part, in terms of the winning
wanting
side
to
of
see
things.
Zach Wilson's mom get banged,
and was Zach Wilson's mom getting banged, and Antonio Pierce being a good interim head coach.
Definitely.
And finally, to see off week 10, the last primetime game Monday night, the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL and the 3-5 Denver Broncos headed to Buffalo to take on the 5-4 Bills, who are the 5th ranked offense. I'm sorry. I know that the Broncos beat the Chiefs in Denver, and that was a stunner. That was my lock of the week. No way the Chiefs lose that game.
That was tough.
I put the hex on the Chiefs, and I wasn't even thinking about it when I did it, so shame on me. But that's a divisional game. That was the first time the Broncos had beaten Patrick Mahomes. I didn't know that going into it. Even if I did, I wouldn't have picked the Broncos. But no, there are some people out there that are picking the Broncos in this one. I mean, here's the thing. If it's the tale of 2 Josh Allens. If you get the Josh Allen who's Josh Allen and doing what he's capable of doing, they're going to wipe the floor with the shitty-ass Broncos. But if Josh Allen plays like he did in week 1 against the Jets, and he's just poo-poo, and he's just trying to do too much and doing everything wrong, Broncos could have a chance of sneaking a win here. But no, I got the Bills winning this one and winning it comfortably. The spread on this one is 7 points for Buffalo, over under at 46.5. I like the over. I do like the over. Statistically, Russell Wilson's actually been pretty decent this season. But that Broncos is dog shit. So the Bills should just shellac them. Stephon Diggs should have a night. And give me the Bills at home winning comfortably against the sorry ass Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough game. This was a tough game to pick. I like the Broncos coming off a bye. I like the Bills roster overall, but I do think that they're overrated. One of my bold predictions back in February after the Super Bowl was that the Bills would, sneak in the playoffs as a wild card team, lose that game, and then McDermott gets the axe right after their wild card exit of the playoffs. Um, I just don't trust the Bills. I can't trust them, and I'm going with the Broncos here. I think the
Wow.
Broncos go into Buffalo, get the upset. I I
Wow.
think Sean Payton will have a really good game plan dialed up for the Broncos. I think they'll figure out a way to get Josh Allen to have that Josh Allen game where he just has a lot of turnovers. And I think the offense of the Broncos is going to be able to move the ball not easily, but easily enough to where they put up, I don't know, 27 and it's enough. I think the final score here is like Broncos 27, Bills 24, and they do just enough to get that victory. And the Bills are going to be
Okay.
5-5, and people are going to be calling for McDermott's head.
Yeah, that is a bold prediction right there.
Yeah.
Broncos are 1-2 away. Bills 4-1 at home. Give me the Bills winning 34-20 on Monday night against the Broncos.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
I could easily see that happening also. But I don't know. This is one of those gut plays where my gut was just saying, dude, Broncos off a bye. You don't like the Bills. You don't trust the Bills. Yeah, I don't trust the Broncos either, but I think they're figuring something out. And I why not? There's every week there's one shocking upset where everyone goes, "How the fuck did that happen?" I think this is that upset.
Okay. Well, no. Again, I've noticed that some of the quote unquote experts out there they're saying that's a sneaky pick to go with the
Oh, really?
Broncos this week. So
Fuck.
um,
I thought I was
I'm
the only
just
one.
I'm not seeing it. But hey, if it happens, good for you making that bold prediction. But there you have it. That's it, Josh. You got anything else you wanted to touch on before we? Oh shit! Our college football
Nope,
games are
you
getting
just froze
started.
also. You're
Oh,
you're you are frozen as we speak. Wait, I
do
think you're
you
back.
do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
No, I got nothing else, man. I think it's going to be, for as weird and shitty as these matchups are, I think it could be a very entertaining week. Best of luck on your picks, and let the gambling gods look over us with, in their favor. Let's hope that we put together a good week this week.
All right, my friend. Here we go. NFL Week 10. I will see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.